Welcome back. All right, so 12 games to review for tonight, and then we got 5 games tomorrow, I think it is, and then 12 games on Saturday and 5 games on Sunday. So, not too shabby, and tonight's games were entertaining. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start off talking about the Carolina Hurricanes and the Florida Panthers. So, it's Kochetkov versus Bobrovsky, and 35 seconds in, Brent Burns opens the scoring. He scores from Slavin and Jarvis. That one's a point shot past a screen to make it 1-0. Shots were 4-0 for Carolina at 2 minutes. The Canes then press at 3 minutes, so it's all Carolina at this point. Florida presses at 4 minutes, but they're kept to the outside. There's a power play for Carolina. That's killed off. Maurice is telling his players about fudge, from what I can understand. I maybe I'm not reading lips very well, but he was angrily yelling it at them. So, at any rate, Bobrovsky's heroic while the Panthers are stuck on one shot. There's a power play for Florida. That's killed off with no shots. Then there's a near miss for Verhaeghe on a fast break. And there were definitely some shots late in that period by the Florida Panthers to get it closer. But not as many as I had on the board. That's definitely not right. So, after the first period, it's 1-0 for Carolina. Second period, Panthers press at a minute and a half. Aho's denied as the Canes press. And then at 2:17, Lundell ties the game from Jesper Boquist and Rodriguez. He roofs that one from the doorstep, makes it 1-1. Florida then looks to take the lead. Blake has a rush chance that saves. Shots are 4-1 Carolina at 5 minutes. The Canes press at 6 minutes. Carolina gets a power play. That's killed off. Barkov has a fast break that's held. There's some pushing there. The Panthers press with 9 minutes left. Burns has a slapper that's kicked aside. Greer has a backhand that's saved. Panthers press with 4 minutes left. Walker has a rush chance that's blocked out. Lundell has a net drive chance that's held. Canes get some pressure in the final seconds. It's 1-1 after 2. Third period, early power play for the Canes. That becomes a 4-on-4. Everything's killed off there. The shots are 2 apiece at 4.5 minutes. Verhaeghe has a net drive chance that's held. There's a near miss for Greer in close. The Canes score. They take a look to see if it was goalie interference, and no, it counts. So at 12 minutes and 30 seconds, it's Slavin scoring from Kotkaniemi and Walker. Carolina with a 2-1 lead. Teams trade turnovers. Referees told that he sucks. The Canes guilty of an icing with 1:22 left during the 6-on-5 with the goalie pulled, of course. Florida calls a timeout on that play. Barkov tries to jam one in. And then at 19:32, Necas hits the empty net from Svechnikov and Stahl. Carolina wins this one 3-1. They go to 23-14-2 with the win. The loss brings Florida down to 23-14-2, so matching records between the two teams. Shots on net, 16-6 Carolina in the first, 16-9 Carolina in the second, 11-8 Florida in the third. Final shots 40-26 for Carolina. Power plays, the Canes 0 for 3, Florida 0 for 2. The hits, 34-28 in favor of Carolina. Kochetkov saves 25 out of 26. Bobrovsky 37 saves on 39 shots. So again, it's another game where Florida just is not able to generate the offense that we're used to them generating, and it's been odd. All right, next up, Boston and the Rangers. So it's Swayman versus Quick in this one. Smith to Kreider gets picked off. The Rangers press at 3.5 minutes. Wotherspoon has a net drive chance that's saved. Shots are 3-1 Boston at 5.5 minutes. McAvoy has a shot that's blocked as the Bruins get some pressure. Rangers press at 9 minutes. Peak breaks up a 2-on-1. At 9:48, the Rangers get the lead at Zibanejad. A turnover leads to this goal. Smith and Kreider with the assists, so 1-0 Rangers. Rangers press with 8 minutes left. And then it's another turnover. Berard puts one short side on a rush. Hedel with the assist at 12:53. It's 2-0 in favor of the New York Rangers. Teams then trade rush chances, but it stays 2-0 after the first. Second period, Bruins press at 2 minutes. Trocheck takes a puck to the helmet. He was fine. They did blow the whistle on the play, and he even gets up like I'm fine, but I would rather that they're cautious about that rather than just letting a player lay there on the ice. We get a power play for Boston. That becomes a minute and 34 seconds of 4-on-4. Everything gets killed off there. And then at 7:57, on a pass from behind the net, Lindholm scores the assist to Pastrnak and McAvoy. So it's 2-1 in favor of the Rangers, but Boston's on the board. Rangers look to respond. Teams trade turnovers. Shots are 8 apiece with 6 minutes left. Rangers press with 3.5 minutes left. The Bruins press with a minute and a half left. The fans call one, the referee does not. It's 2-1 Rangers after 2. Third period, teams trade turnovers. Lots of sloppy play in this one, at least the parts I was watching. There's a lot of times where the puck's going back and forth and not really getting to the net. Hedel has a shot that's kicked aside. The Bruins press at 3.5 minutes. In fact, Boston's leading in shots 3-1 at 5 minutes. Pasternak to Marchand gets blocked. The Bruins press at 9 minutes. Zibanejad couldn't bury one in close. The Rangers press with 9 minutes left. Panarin has a rush chance. That's blocked. The Bruins press with 5.5 minutes left. Peak has a screenshot that's held, so the goalie gets pulled with 1:54 left. And Boston remains a team that does not have a 6-on-5 goal this year. They do not tie it. Your final score is 2-1 for the Rangers. They go to 17-19-1 with the win. Boston 20-16-4 with the loss. Shots on net, 8 apiece in the first, 13-12 Boston in the second, 12-7 Boston in the third. Boston does outshoot the Rangers 33-27. Power plays, both teams go 0 for 1. The hits, 18-16 Boston. Swayman saves 25 out of 27. Quick saves 32 out of 33 at the other end. All right, next up, Washington hosted the Minnesota Wild. So it's Fleury versus Lindgren. The Wild press at 1.5 minutes. The shots were 4 apiece, only 2.5 minutes in, which seemed very un-Washington-like to have that many that early in a game for both teams. Caps press at 5.5 minutes. Wilson's denied during that. There's more pressure by the Capitals at 7 minutes. In fact, they're building momentum, and eventually they get the lead. At 10:19, Wilson buries a loose puck in close. Sandin with the assist on that one to make it 1-0 for the Caps. Wild looked to respond at 11:24. Hartman deflects in a point shot, so he started producing. Bogosian and Eriksson Ek with the assists makes it 1-1. With 1:48 left, the Caps get a power play, and during this, Lindgren comes out of the net to play the puck and gives it to the wrong guy. Trennan gets it, goes around the net, puts it in at 19:07. The shorthanded goal, assisted by Lindgren by accident, of course. And so it's 2-1 Minnesota after one. Second period, Wild do finish the kill. Teams trade turnovers. Caps press at 4.5 minutes. They're kept to the outside. There's a press by the Wild at 7.5 minutes. The Wild draw a power play. That's killed off. Chisholm has a screenshot. That's held. We get a power play for the Capitals. It's 4 minutes. And during the first 2 minutes, it's Ovechkin. He's 24 away from Gretzky, 23 away from Gretzky. Strome with the assist at 15:08. So he's going to pass Gretzky. I think it's probably going to be next season, early next season by the looks of it. The Wild kill the second 2 minutes on the power play. The Caps press in the final minute. It's 2-2 after 2. Third period, early press by the Caps. Fleury denies Dubois in close. There's a shoulder save on a wrister by Ben Jones. And then at 5:34, Ferrari with what I believe is his first goal of the season. He scores from Dubois to make it 3-2 for the Caps. We get a power play for the Wild. That's killed off. Wilson scores. On the ice, they call it a high stick, so they rule it no goal. They reviewed it, and stays no goal. But then at 11:19, Minnesota ties it. It's Rossi from Hartman and Brodin. So Hartman with a goal and an assist in this one, and that makes it 3-3. Caps press with 6.5 minutes left. The Wild get some pressure after that. Lindgren holds on. We're going overtime. The overtime, the Caps control early. The Wild take over. They set up. There's a post for Boldy from the inner slot, but we're going to the shootout. And in the shootout, it is Boldy who gets the winner. So it's a 4-3 shootout victory for Minnesota. They go to 24-11-4 with the much-needed victory. The Washington Capitals go to 25-10-3 with the shootout loss. Shots on net, 13-11 Washington in the first, 7 apiece in the second, 14-10 Minnesota in the third. Both teams had one shot in the overtime. Final shots 33-31 for Minnesota. Power plays, the Wild 0 for 2, Washington 1 for 3. The hit 16-10 Washington. Fleury saves 28 out of 31. Lindgren saves 30 out of 33. Entertaining game though. All right. Next up, last game on this board is Detroit and Columbus. So it's Talbot versus Merzlikins. There's an early press by Columbus. We get too many wings on the ice. It's a power play for Columbus, and they score on it. It is Van Riemsdyk from Sillinger and Provorov at 2:42. Columbus then looks for another. In fact, the shots are 3-1 Columbus at 5 minutes, but Detroit would tie it. Patrick Kane unassisted at 6:55. Wings then draw a power play. That's killed off. However, they would score again. Gustafsson puts it in from a distance. Elvis was just out of position. Hall gets the assist on that at 14:39. And Gustafsson celebrated as if it's his first in a while, because it's his first in a while, and maybe he'll get things going from here. Columbus presses with 3.5 minutes left with 2:58 left. Detroit gets power play, and they score on it. At 17:09, DeBrincat roofs one from the side of the net. Sider and Larkin with the assist. So a lot of Detroit players you want to see get going are going, and it's 3-1 Detroit after one. Second period, the Wings press at 2 minutes. Teams trade turnovers. Wings press at 6.5 minutes. Columbus blocks. The shots are only 2-1 for Detroit at 8 minutes. Seider fires one wide on a one-timer, and then it's an unassisted goal by Werenski at 11:09 to make it 3-2 for Detroit. Shots are 4 apiece with 4.5 minutes left. Columbus presses with 2 minutes left. Voronkov to Marchenko. There's a near miss there, and then at 18:40 on a cross-ice pass, Monahan puts one in on the rush. Van Riemsdyk and Werenski with the assists. It's 3-3 after 2. Third period, Matejchuk has a point shot that's held. Columbus presses at 2 minutes. The Wings press at 3 minutes, and we get a power play for Detroit, and they score on it. It's Larkin from DeBrincat and Kane at 4:54. He tips this one in close on a tic-tac-toe play. Nicely played. Columbus presses at 5.5 minutes. The shots are 6-5 for the Blue Jackets at the half. The Wings press, they're not getting to the net, and eventually Columbus ties it again. It's Van Riemsdyk putting one past a screen from the slot. Fantilli and Werenski with the assists at 17:19. It's a 4-4 tie. The goalie interference challenge fails, so Columbus gets power play. So was it goalie interference? Well, here's the thing. After it's killed off, Berggren, who went in the box on the failed challenge as the penalty, he scores on a breakaway out of the box at 19:24. Mott and Sherratt with the assists. Detroit steals one here. 5-4 win in Columbus. They go to 16-18-4 with the win. With the loss, Columbus 16-17-6. Shots on net, 12-7 Detroit in the first, 6-5 Detroit in the second, 13-8 Columbus in the third. Final shots 26-25 for the Wings. Power plays, Detroit 2 for 3, Columbus 1 for 2. The hits 19-16 Columbus. Talbot saves 21 out of 25. Elvis saves 21 out of 26. And now I'd have to change boards. All right, so Toronto and the New York Islanders. Wall versus Sorokin in this one. Myers has a shot that's held during a press by the Leafs. Marner has a net feed that's held. Shots are 3-2 for Toronto, 4.5 minutes in. Islanders press are kept to the outside. A net feed to Fasching gets picked off. The Leafs press with 9.5 minutes left. Robertson's denied on a rush. Ekman Larson fires one wide. The Leafs are controlling the game. They just can't get a goal at this point. Horvat has a rush chance that's held with 2:54 left. The Leafs get a power play. That's killed off. It is scoreless after the first period. So second period, early chance by Kampf is saved. The Islanders press at 1.5 minutes. They get more pressure, 4.5 minutes in. Shots are 5-2 for the Leafs, though, at 6.5 minutes. So the Islanders are getting that zone time. They weren't getting enough shots at that point. Pelech has a shot that's blocked. The Leafs rush. Siplikov can't bury one in close. And then at 10:43, McMahon scores. He roofs it from the slot from Robertson. And I think my favorite part of this wasn't it Craig Simpson? Was it Craig Simpson or Mike Johnson on this game? Saying McMahon, a good player with a lot of potential. And then it's pointed out to him, the guy's 28. And I thought that was a nice moment. He's 28. What you see is what you get with a player when they're 28. There's not young prospect at 28 kind of thing. Nyes has a rush chance that's held. There's some pushing. We get a power play for the Islanders. That becomes a 5-on-3. Barzal's denied on a one-timer. The Islanders call a timeout when it's 5-on-4. Patrick Waugh's doing everything he can to get this power play going, but it just flat out sucks. It's killed off. And then at 18:15, Mayfield gets his first in 21 games. This one via a cross-ice pass. Barzal and Pelech with the assist. So the Islanders still tie it before the period's out. Nyes then has a tip shot. That's blocked out. It's 1-1 after 2. Third period. A net feed to McLean gets blocked. The shots are 2-1 Islanders at 3 minutes. There's a near miss for Horvat on a rush. Leafs press at 6.5 minutes. McLean takes a puck to the jaw. That looked painful, so I wouldn't want to do that. That's not something I'd want to do. We get a power play for the Islanders. Dobson has a screenshot that saved. That power play is killed off. The Islanders press with 6.5 minutes left. Nyes is robbed on a turnover. We get a power play for Toronto with 4:41 left. And at 17:01, McMahon scores. OEL and Domi with the assists. And it goes past the net, off the boards, straight to McMahon and into the net. So it looked to me like one of those ones where a defenseman's intentionally missing the net, looking for that bank pass. There's a near miss for Barzal during the 6-on-5 because now you got to pull the goalie. Puck goes in, but the whistle went. They reviewed it and they said, nope, no goal. So it's one of those ones where it's not continuation. And yeah, the Islanders, the fans weren't happy. There's more booing at the horn. But yeah, Toronto wins this one 2-1. They go to 24-13-2 with the win. With the loss, the Islanders 14, 18, and 7. Shots on net, 11-8 Toronto in the first, 11 apiece in the second, 14-9 Islanders in the third. The Islanders do outshoot Toronto 33-31. Power plays, Toronto 1 for 2, the Islanders 0 for 3, and that really tells the story. Special teams worked for Toronto, didn't work for the Islanders. The hits 26-19 for Toronto. Wall saves 32 out of 33. Sorokin was excellent, 29 saves on 31 shots. Just he did not get the goal support that you're looking for. Next up, the Ottawa Senators in Dallas. So it's Marilainen versus Ottinger. There's an early jump for Dallas. The Stars press at 4 minutes. There's a power play for Dallas, and they scored on it, which is weird because they don't normally do that. At 4:39, Hintz deflects one pass to screen. Robertson and Heiskanen with the assists. It's 1-0 at that stage. Power play for Ottawa, that's killed off. No shots on net. The Sens press after it ends. Eventually they do score. Good forechecking leads to this tip in by Tkachuk. Pinto with the assist at 7:45. And then 24 seconds later, on another turnover, Greg scores from Tkachuk at 8:09. And so that's 2 goals for Ottawa. They had 2 shots on net. So rough start to the game for Jake Ottinger. We get a power play for Dallas. It becomes 15 seconds of 5-on-3. Sens kill that off. The Stars press after. More pressure by Dallas in the final minute, but it's 2-1 Ottawa after the first. Second period, there's an early press by Dallas. The Senators get some pressure at 4.5 minutes. Ottawa draws a power play. That's killed off. Shots are 4-3 Ottawa at 7.5 minutes. The teams exchange rushes. Stars press at 9 minutes. At 10:19, Ben goes bar down on a tip shot. Duchesne and Johnston with the assist, so it's 2-2. And then at 11:27, Hintz puts one past a screen from in close. Robertson and Dodonov with the assist. So Robertson getting points, Hintz getting goals. Johnston started showing up on the score sheet. It's 3-2 Dallas. And again, the right players are starting to heat up here. Stars press for another. The Sens get pinned down, but they block the net, and it stays 3-2 Dallas after 2. Third period, there's an early press by the Stars. We then get a power play for Dallas. There's a breakaway for Pinto. He's denied there, shorthanded. They do kill that off. We get a power play for Ottawa, so Dallas kills that off. Stars go back to the power play. That's killed off as well. They already had 1 power play goal in the game. They're not going to get 2. Clevin prevents a Dodonov fast break and does it without taking a penalty. Shots are not 5-1 for Dallas at 9.5 minutes. Giroux down. The Sens wanted a call on Beck for that one, and they were unhappy that Beck didn't get called on, I think it was a cross-check or a board. But at any rate, Dallas would score again at 13:37 on a turnover. Duchesne buries one on a pass from behind the net that he got from Wyatt Johnston. So that makes it 4-2 for Dallas. Bork gets dinged on a shot block. Looked like that sucked. With 3:20 left, the Stars with a delayed game call. They do kill that off. So even with the goalie pulled in a 6-on-4, Ottawa's not able to generate that goal that they get to get closer. Final score is 4-2 for Dallas. Dallas goes to 23-13-1 with the win. With the loss, the Ottawa Senators 19-16-2. Shots on net, 8-6 Dallas in the first, 8-5 Dallas in the second, 9-2 Dallas in the third. Final shots 25-13 for Dallas. It's been a long road trip for Ottawa. I think they're just out of gas. Power plays, Ottawa 0 for 4, Dallas 1 for 5. The hits 29-11 for Ottawa. Marilainen 21 saves on 25 shots. Ottinger 11 saves on 13 shots. So he allowed goals on the first 2 shots he faced. He did save the other 11. It's still kind of an ugly stat line for him at the end of the night. Anaheim and Winnipeg. So it's Gibson versus Hellebuck, and 33 seconds in on their first shot, Winnipeg scores. It's Scheifele from Connor and Velarde. Scheifele burying a net feed, so 1-0. Jets look to add another. McTavish has a net feed that's held. The Jets press at 6.5 minutes. The shots, though, are 3-2 for the Ducks at 8.5 minutes. The Ducks would press at 9.5 minutes. Jets get stuck at 2 shots for a while. The Ducks press with 7 minutes left. Gustafsson can't bury one in close as the Jets do get a little bit of pressure. Jets are building some momentum in that second half, and they would score. Lowry on a 2-on-1 rush. He tips it. He puts it far top corner. Iafallo and Morrissey with the assists at 17-17, which is nice because Lowry wears number 17. It's 2-0 for Winnipeg. And then at 18:58, Carlson tips one post and in. Anaheim gets it back. Gudas and Killorn with the assist, so it's 2-1 Winnipeg after 1. Second period. The only shot on net is Winnipeg's 2.5 minutes in. Vetrano to Strome, there's a near miss there. The shots are only 2-1 Winnipeg at 7 minutes. Not a lot going on. And then that should say 6:30 because at 6:52, Terry puts in a one-timer from in close. Strome and Dumoulin with the assists, so that makes it a 2-2 tie. The Anaheim Ducks suddenly on the board and tied as well. More pressure, or the Jets press at 9 minutes. They get more pressure with 8.5 minutes left. They're trying to get the lead back, of course. We get a power play for Winnipeg. Velarde's denied. Gibson holds on there. That power play is killed off. Jets press with 4 minutes left. With 2:32 left, the Jets go back to the power play. That's killed off as well. It's 2-2 after 2. Third period, Jets press at 2.5 minutes. Velarde to Scheifele near miss. Then there's an arm save on a rush chance by Frankie Vetrano. Shots are 2-1 Winnipeg at 4 minutes. The Jets press at 6.5 minutes. The Ducks then get some pressure, but they can't get to the net. Scheifele to Connor gets blocked. The Ducks press with 9 minutes left. Ehlers has a wrister that's blocked. It's cleared out. And then at 17-16, Iafallo scores for Winnipeg. He gets that one from Niederreiter and Morrissey. However, less than a minute later, Gudas from the point, past a screen, ties the game again. Vetrano and Terry with the assists at 18-10. We have a 3-3 game. Jets press for a response, and we end up going to overtime. The Ducks control early. The teams trade turnovers, and at 3:34, Terry wires one on a 2-on-1 rush. Gibson with the assist on Troy Terry's goal, and the Anaheim Ducks steal one on Winnipeg. They're now 2-0 against Winnipeg this year. They go to 16-17-4 with the overtime loss. Winnipeg 27-11-2. Shots on net, 10-7 Anaheim in the first, 12-4 Winnipeg in the second, 9-8 Winnipeg in the third. In the overtime, both teams had 2 shots. Anaheim, the shot that matters. Final shots, 30-24 for Winnipeg. Power plays, Anaheim didn't have any. Winnipeg went 0 for 2. The hits, 44-26 for Anaheim, so physical game. Gibson saves 27 out of 30. Hellebuck, not a Hellebuck-like number. 20 saves on 24 shots. All right, next up, Buffalo and Colorado. And Buffalo's just, they're Buffalo. They do Buffalo things. It might be the most Buffalo game that ever Buffaloed. So, Luukkonen versus Wedgwood. Shots are 2 apiece at 5.5 minutes. We get a power play for Buffalo, and they score on it. Zucker puts in a cross-crease pass. Quinn and Thompson with the assists at 13-17. Shots are 8-6 Buffalo with 5 minutes left. Kulik fires one wide via 3-on-2 rush. And then at 17-10, Byram goes forehand, backhand, and puts it in. Zucker and Cousins with the assists. It's 2-0 in favor of Buffalo. The Avs press in the final minute. Stays 2-0 in favor of Buffalo. Second period, early press by the Avs. Cousins has a shot that's saved as Sabres press. Shots are 3-1 for Buffalo at 4 minutes. The Avs score, but is it offside? Yep, so no goal there. It stays 2-0. Teams trade rushes. Thompson runs out of room on a net drive. I guess he just didn't see the opening there, and they just went right past the net. We get a power play for Buffalo, and they score on this one too. It's Zucker from Thompson and Dahlin at 11:08. It's 3-0 Buffalo, which means Buffalo's looking at that going, all right, nuts. So there's a press by the Avs. They're kept to the outside, but at 14:58, Makar scores to get the Avalanche on the board. Drouin and Taves with the assist. The Avs then look for another. Sabres delay a game with 2:56 left, but they kill that off. So it's 3-1 in favor of Buffalo after 2. Third period at 1:05. Colton tips went in from the doorstep. Gerard with the assists, as I would imagine all the guys on Buffalo's bench going, see, we're going to blow it again. See, look, it's happening. So Wedgwood's hurt as the Sabres score, and this is reviewed. So Wedgwood looked like player falls on his leg. I think it was Benson fell on his leg too, and he probably pulled something there because you're not able to brace yourself for that. So Benson gets the goal. Krebs and Peterka with the assist at 1:27. So when the referee says it counts, the fans are angry. So it's challenged for goalie interference. But Kelly shoves the player onto his own goaltender. So since Parker Kelly does that, it's not goalie interference. It counts. And yeah, crowd not happy. But the Avs weren't happy either. So yeah, everybody's not happy. The ref is told that he sucks. So we get 4-on-4. And then we get an Avs power play. It starts as a 4-on-3, and then it becomes a 5-on-3 because Buffalo can't get out of their own way. And during the 5-on-3, Rantanen scores from McKinnon and Middlestat at 4:17. The Sabres kill the 5-on-4. The Avs press with 7 minutes left, and at 16:09, Zucker roofs his own rebound for the hat trick. Thompson with the assist. It's a 2-goal lead for Buffalo. It's a mirror. Nope. Makar with a one-timer during the 6-on-5. McKinnon and Taves at 17:34. And then Drouin ties the game from McKinnon and Rantanen at 19:52. And then in overtime, Taves gets the winner at 46 seconds because Buffalo cannot hold the lead against the Avs. 6-5 overtime win. The Avs go to 24-15 with this one. Buffalo 14-20-5. And the Avs have to be counting their lucky stars that they get the win here, but it's Buffalo. Does it count if you beat Buffalo? Does it count at all? At any rate, let's go to the last board. All right, so Utah and Calgary. Vejmelka versus Vladar in this one. The only shot on net was Calgary's at 3 minutes, and at 8:51 on Utah's third shot, Krause scores from Cole. The Flames had 6 shots at that point, so it's a little bit against the flow of play. Shots are 7-4 for Calgary with 5.5 minutes left. We get a power play for Utah. That's killed off, and then with 1:24 left, the Flames get a power play, and they score on it to tie the game. It's Coleman from Kadri and Anderson at 19:12. It's 1-1 after the first. Second period. Schmaltz to Mata with a near miss. There's an early power play for the Flames. Uyghur has a one-timer that's held. That power play's killed off. Suppressed by Utah at 3.5 minutes. Shots are 5-2 for the hockey club. 5 minutes in. Utah draws a power play and they score on it. At 6:19, Cooley scores from Gunther and Keller. So the fans inform the referee that he sucks for that call. And then at 7:26, the Flames answer to tie the game. It's Zari from Sharangovich and Uyghur. So we have a 2-2 tie. Utah presses for response. The Flames press at 9 minutes. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Gunther has a rush chance that's saved. And then at 15:14, Pahal with a nice one. He scores to give the Flames their first lead of the game. Coronado and Coleman with the assists. The Flames look for another. Calgary draws a power play. That's killed off, but it's 3-2 for the Flames after 2. Third period, 37 seconds in. Keller tips one post and in to tie the game. Mata and Hayton with the assists. And then at 2:35, Krause with the second of the game. He roofs it. Bjugstad and Mata with the assists. So all of a sudden, 2.5 minutes into the period, Utah goes from being down 3-2 to being up 4-3. We get a power play for Utah. That's killed off, but the shots are 6-1 for the Utah Hockey Club, 7 minutes in. Kerfoot has a net drive. That's saved. We get a power play for Calgary. That's killed off. The goalie pull happens with roughly 2 minutes left. Flames call a timeout with 1:10 left and 10 seconds after that. At 19 minutes, Stenlund hits the empty net. Kerfoot and Sergachev with the assists. So that makes the final score 5-3 for Utah. They win this one. They needed the points. They're 17-15-6 with the loss. Calgary 18-13-7 on the season. Shots on net, 10-6 Calgary in the first, 10-9 Calgary in the second, 11-6 Utah in the third. Final shots are 26 apiece. Power plays, Utah 1 for 3, Calgary 1 for 4. The hits, 36-21 Calgary. Vejmelka saves 23 out of 26. Vladar, 21 saves on 25 shots. All right, next up. Philadelphia and the Vegas Golden Knights. So it's Kolosov versus Samsonov. And at 21 seconds on their first shot, Philadelphia scores. It's Forster from Cates and Brink. That's the only shot on net as we get to about 3.5 minutes into this. The Flyers have a 3-on-2 that misfires. The shots are 3-1 Vegas at 7.5 minutes, but the one shot by Philly, of course, is their goal. Vegas presses at the half. The Flyers press with 9.5 minutes left. With 3 minutes left, Vegas gets a power play. That's killed off. It's 1-0 Philly after the first. But second period, on a turnover rush, Stone scores from Eichel and Hanifin at 51 seconds. And then it's another turnover, and it's in the Philadelphia net at 2:13 as Haig scores from Kolesar. Haig burying a wrap around there. So all of a sudden, it's 2-1 in favor of Vegas. Vegas looks for another. Shots are 5-2 for the Golden Knights, 5 minutes in. The Flyers press at 8 minutes. Teams trade rush chances. The Flyers press with 6 minutes left. The Vegas presses with 3 minutes left. Olofsson with a post during a pretty heavy press by Vegas. Flyers would ice it. And at 18:22, face-off win and it's in. Dorofeev from Theodore and McNabb. So it's 3-1 for Vegas after 2. Third period, 2:46 in. Holtz puts one in from a distance on a turnover. Hanifin and Pietrangelo with the assists. It's 4-1 in favor of Vegas. Vegas looks for another. The shots are 3-0 in their favor, 3.5 minutes in. We get a press by Vegas at 4.5 minutes. Forster has a rush chance. That's held, but that rush draws a power play for Philadelphia, and they score on it. Konechny at 4:56. He wires one far side from the left circle. You probably want to save there from Samsonov. Tippett and Frost with the assists, so that makes it a 4-2 game. Vegas presses at 6 minutes. The Flyers get some pressure at 8 minutes. Holtz gets dinged on a shot block. He would exit. He would come back into the game. We get a power play for the Flyers. That's killed off. Vegas presses with 4 minutes left. The goalie pull happens with 3 minutes left. And at 19-24, Tanner Pearson hits the empty net. The assists to Stone and Eichel. Vegas wins this one 5-2. They get to 26-9-3 with the victory. With the loss, Philadelphia 17-18-4. Shots on net 8-4 Philly in the first, 12-11 Vegas in the second, 11-6 Vegas in the third. Final shots are 27-25 for the Golden Knights. Power plays Philadelphia 1 for 2, Vegas 0 for 1. The hits 22-17 for Vegas. Kolosov 22 saves on 26 shots, and Samsonov 23 saves on 25 shots. Philadelphia just does not have a starting goaltender right now, and it shows. I'm not saying like Kolosov's terrible, but he's definitely playing more than he should be. Philadelphia, they're not a bad team. It just feels like they're a starting goaltender away from maybe being able to get closer to that playoff line. 17-18-4 without a true number one and really solid goaltending numbers. If they had a good goaltender, who knows where they'd be right now. All right, next up. The Vancouver Canucks and the Seattle Kraken. I said I was ready to be angry again. I was kidding, but the Canucks weren't. So, it's Demko versus Grubauer. Good early start for Seattle. They get a good forecheck going, and then Stevenson puts one through Demko on a rush. Burakovsky and Dunn with the assists at 1:52. Shots are 2-0 for Seattle at 4 minutes. Schwartz is denied from the doorstep, and the Canucks are flat early in this game. Seattle's controlling it. There's a press by the Canucks with 8 minutes left, and at 13-17, a puck takes a Canucks bounce over to Sasson, who buries it. Heinen and Höglander with the assist, so at 13-17, the Canucks tie the game. Dislike is ramping up. We end up with 2 minutes of 4-on-4 after some pushing and punching goes on. Shots are 7-4 for the Kraken with 4 minutes left. 2:56 left, Seattle gets a power play. That's killed off, and then with 44.6 seconds left, the Canucks get a power play, so it's a 1-1 tie after 1. That power play rolls over into the second period. The Kraken finish the kill there. Seattle presses at 2.5 minutes. Canucks press at 4.5 minutes. Bjorkstrand has a fast break chance. That's denied. And at 7:49, Garland puts one around Grubauer on a breakaway to DiGiuseppe and Forbert with the assists. And on that goal, that's where Demko says something's wrong, and he left. And just with the nature of Demko's injury, when I saw him leave and Lankinen go in, back of my mind, I thought he might be done for the year. Because it's the nature of the injury. It definitely looked like something happened somewhere and it just didn't feel right. And that's how he left the playoffs last year. It didn't look that bad, but he didn't come back till November. Is it November or December he came back? It's December he came back, isn't it? Yeah, so I would be very surprised if it's not a long-term injury for Demko and if we're not looking at Lankinen having to be the starter again. So we'll see how everything goes from here. Canucks press with 9.5 minutes left. The Kraken get pinned down, but they block the net. We get a press by Seattle with 5.5 minutes left. Momentum for the Kraken late. Sherwood has a buzzer beater that's held, and I thought Lankinen played really well in relief there too. It's 2-1 Vancouver after 2. Third period. Early power play for the Canucks. That's killed off. Canucks press after. Bluger has a wrister that's held. Shots are only one apiece at 5 minutes, and at 5:35, Myers roofs one from a distance. DeBrusk and Miller with the assists there. Things get pushed in a hold by Grubauer. The Kraken then draw a power play, and they score on it. At 9:04, Beniers from Wright and Montour, and the shots are 6-3 for the Kraken at the half. And my brain said, so the Canucks are going to blow this lead, huh? So the Kraken press with 9.5 minutes left. They have momentum looking for the tie. Höglander has a rush chance. That's held. One good thing for the Canucks right now, and trying to find the good things, it's not always easy, but Höglander is playing well. I don't know if that's going to lead to more ice time or him getting benched for outplaying everybody. Goalie pull happens with 2:40 left, and Seattle ties it. Of course they do. Done. It's a total collapse by the Canucks again. Burakovsky and Beniers with the assists at 19:06. So we go to overtime, and there was no scoring in the overtime. So we go to the shootout. In the shootout, JT Miller gets the winner. The Canucks pull this one out of the fire. They win in a shootout 4-3. They go to 18-11-8 with the win. With the shootout loss, the Kraken 17-19-3. Shots on net, 9-6 Seattle in the first, 10 apiece in the second, 7-5 Seattle in the third. Both teams had one shot in the overtime, not much going on there. Final shots, 27-22 for Seattle. Power plays, Vancouver 0 for 2, Seattle 1 for 2, and the hits 20-19 for Vancouver. Demko saved 11 out of 12. Lankinen saved 13 out of 15, and honestly, good on him. He went in there in relief role, and he did well. Grubauer, 19 saves on 22 shots at the other end for Seattle. All right, and final game of the night. is the Tampa Bay Lightning against the San Jose Sharks. So San Jose got shelled 8-1 against Tampa Bay early in the year, and the Sharks clearly remembered. It's Vasilevsky versus Askarov, the two highest drafted Russian goalies in NHL history. So that's a fun matchup right there. Bolts press at 3 minutes. Lilleberg has a net drive chance that's saved. The teams trade rushes. The shots are 2 apiece 5 minutes in. Askarov passes to Tampa twice on back-to-back plays. So that's not your team. Stop passing it there. Which, hey, the Canucks, I didn't see them pass to Dunn tonight, so that's progress, but we'll get out of that. So net feed to Kovalenko gets blocked. Geeky's denied on a rush. The Sharks press with 7 minutes left. And at 13:52, Toffoli roofs one from the slot. Vlasic and Ruda with the assist. Marc-Edouard Vlasic in the lineup tonight, and he gets an assist. Tampa presses with 4.5 minutes left, but it's 1-0 San Jose after the first. Second period. Early press by Tampa. Chaffee has a fight with Ferraro. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4 not long after that. It's a pretty fighty second period. Vlasic has a rush chance that's held. That's right. Marc-Edouard Vlasic with a rush chance, and that's held. So welcome back to the game. We get a power play for the Sharks. That's killed off. Tampa Bay then gets turned on the power play. That's killed off as well. And Ferraro goes bar down. I don't know that I've ever said Mario Ferraro goes bar down, but he did. Granlund with the assist at 12:53. It's 2-0 for San Jose. Toffoli's then denied on a breakaway. Well, I'm thinking, I don't know what's going on here, but this is entertaining. So we get a power play for the Sharks. That's killed off. And then at 17:44, Cirelli tips in a point shot. The assist to Chernak and Hagel. It's 2-1 San Jose after 2. Third period. Teams trade turnovers. Paul's denied and close. Askarov, just amazing save there. The Bolts press at 4 minutes. The shots are 6-2 for Tampa at 6 minutes. Power play for Tampa Bay. That's killed off. Sharks press with 9 minutes left. Cunning's denied and close. Vasilevsky holds there. Tampa Bay presses with 5 minutes left. The goalie pull happens with 1:44 left. And then 4 seconds later, there's a whistle, so Tampa Bay calls a timeout, but they're unable to tie it. The final score, 2-1 for San Jose. They go to 12, 23, and 6. That's right, plan the parade. Tampa Bay 20, 13, and 2 with the loss tonight. Shots on net, 9-8 San Jose in the first, 12-6 San Jose in the second, 11-4 Tampa in the third. Both teams had 25 shots in this game. Power plays, both teams 0 for 2 in this one. It hits 17-13 San Jose. Vasilevsky, 23 saves on 25 shots. Askarov, 24 saves on 25 shots. Maybe his best game as a member of the Sharks. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. One thing with watching the games tonight, I figured out what makes me mad watching hockey games. It's something simple. It's something that I don't understand why teams do it. So I'm going to do a video specifically on that tomorrow because I think it's why we see so many comebacks and why leads just aren't safe. It's a pattern I've noticed with teams defending leads. But yeah, so let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already done so, as I previously mentioned. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.